All right, I'm really excited to share with you guys a special guest that we have tonight. I know that I've talked with you guys before about the opportunities that are available to homeschoolers and unschoolers to be able to hack their high school and college education. And I'm really, really, really excited to announce one of the incredible opportunities that your students will have, especially for those who are enrolled in PAX Academy. We are launching a new partnership with Bottega University. And I wanted to invite Zach here, and he is going to share with you guys a little bit about what that process looks like, what dual enrollment is, and what is the special program that they're offering so that your students are able to earn both high school and college credits at the same time. So, Zach, you want to take it away?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Angela. Again, my name is Zach. I'm with Bottega University, and I'm excited to share just a little bit more about this initiative that we're launching. And we partnered with PAX Academy because we believe in what they're doing for your families and for your children especially. So we wanted to be able to offer this opportunity that we think will really help give your students just a leg up and to get ahead before they even step out the front door for the last time. I've got kids myself. I'm actually a homeschooling dad. I've got three right now. They're not high school age yet or middle school. They're still in grade school. But one day I'm going to have to kind of release the reins a little bit. And my hope is that they're prepared for careers and for family life and for everything that the world tosses at them. So what I wanted to introduce you guys to tonight is the Bottega AdvantEDGE initiative. Uh, this is an opportunity for students, as Angela said, to earn college credit while still in high school. In fact, they can earn up to 90 college credits uh, before even finishing. They can earn certificates, they can earn degrees, they can just take general education classes that satisfy high school requirements and college requirements. They can earn up to 90 credits toward a bachelor's degree, which is 3 years of college education before they even finish high school, depending on when they begin and what their schedule looks like. Because at its core, the Bottega AdvantEDGE is designed to meet the unique needs of independent and homeschooling learners wherever they're at. And because we offer this opportunity, each student will have the chance to essentially have their own tailored and structured college education while still finishing high school. Uh, and this program is really meant to be personal, flexible, and tangible for each of your children. Uh, like myself, I'm sure many of you started homeschooling or unschooling because either your child needed more personal attention or maybe they just weren't thriving in a compulsory education system. In my case, I don't think that my kids would have, which is why we started homeschooling them. Or maybe you just wanted more time with your child and wanted to have more family events and really make your education holistic. Or maybe you felt that the education your children were receiving was just too abstract, or they just didn't understand how it aligned with their interests and their goals. So we started this initiative using high school aged and higher education to save you time and money and then frustration with just the current status quo, the way that things are done already. So the Bottega AdvantEDGE actually adapts to your individual needs as a family and for your child's individual needs. So whether they're just thriving in a home environment or pursuing alternative learning paths, we're committed to supporting their journey through the AdvantEDGE. So the first way that we do this is through personalized learning. And I break it down in three ways. One, it's their space. It's not our space. They don't have to try to readapt to a brand new environment. We've adapted to their environment, whether that's at home or whether it's traveling. I'm actually a full-time RVer myself. I've taken my family across the whole world and homeschooled my kids, and I can do this while homeschooling them when they get to the point that they're ready to take advantage of this. They can really do it anywhere because it's 100% online. It's also their schedule. They have 24/7 access to their content, so there's no specific set login times that they have to get everything taken care of. Just like your schedule at home, some days you might spend a couple hours, and some days you might take a day off and then do it on the weekend. Whatever that looks like for your family and for your life, you can adapt this to their schedule, whether it's morning, noon, and if you're like me, it could have been midnight. So sometimes that happens. And we have custom term lengths, which I'll talk a little bit about later. And lastly, we're focused on their success. I've been in higher education for a decade. And before I personally came to Bottega University, I'll tell you my experience. It's about funneling students through in order to meet the bottom line. That's how a lot of schools are doing it. And Bottega University does not believe in that. I've met the instructors and I know the academic dean personally. He's a friend of mine. I visited him last year in California, and each of them truly care about the outcome of their students. They're there for them and they want to know what makes them tick and what enables them to succeed. There's mentorship in these programs where they actually walk alongside of them to help them meet their individual learning goals. And there's really good feedback that they give them because of that. So we want to make sure that they have a personalized learning experience, that they're successful. We also have flexible tuition in terms. Now, AdvantEDGE versus other schools is different in a couple of ways. First, we are aligned with state-funded vouchers, grants, and scholarships. So whatever might be available to you, the reason why we can do that is because your child will be enrolled through PAX Academy. And if there are homeschool grants or curriculum grants or anything like that that you can use towards PAX Academy, they'll be taking these classes while enrolled at PAX Academy. And those courses will be listed on their high school transcript. Their grades will be listed on their high school transcript that you'll submit for high school teacher evaluations and in order to meet state standards. It's only $300 a course. This is actually even less than what our standard course offering is, because of the relationship that we have with PAX Academy. We can offer this price, and it'll never exceed $1,100 per term for a full-time course load. So in addition to the savings you get on a single course, you also get additional savings for taking a full-time course load if that's something that your student is able to manage.
I
Now,
actually, do you mind if I just interject real quick? I'm sorry, Zach.
absolutely.
For parents that maybe are not familiar with the college process here, just so you're aware, that's $300 per course, not per credit hour. And at the
Yes.
college level, most of the courses are 3 credits. And just so you can kind of have a comparison here, I just looked up what is the average cost per credit hour. For a college, for a public program. For a public program, it's usually $410 per credit hour, and that's the average. And that is for 1 credit. So you multiply that by 3 for one class, and you're looking at over $1,000 for the same amount of credits that you would be getting through this program for just 300.
Yep. That's
And
okay.
that's
Thank you
if
so
you're at
much
a
for
public
adding
school.
that.
So
Yeah, but yeah, private schools can cost even more many times. Honestly, the reason why we can do this is because we're very efficient in how we manage our students and our organization as a whole. We all work remotely. That's a big thing. Overhead costs of running a physical building is something that um, brings a lot of added costs. In addition to what I'm about to share here, the first thing is that universities are mostly concerned with meeting their bottom line. Even nonprofit universities, they're nonprofit because they don't reinvest or pocket their money. They reinvest it in their program so they can continue to build up their endowments. So nonprofit doesn't necessarily mean more affordable. And for-profit schools, of course, they raise the profits because they want to make a profit and they're trying to maximize the profits. And many of these schools raise their tuition prices because of federal student aid. Studies show that federal student aid programs, student loans and grant programs used by schools, those same schools in turn increase their tuition prices by 35 to 75%, which means that you're looking with tuition and sometimes not even room and board. If you're looking at a residential school, it can be anywhere from $11,000 to $30,000 a year, and fees are not usually included in that figure with that estimate. Versus with the AdvantEDGE, you're earning accredited college credits. We're accredited by DEAC, the Distance Education Accrediting Commission, and we're recognized by the Department of Education and the Council for Higher Education Administration. There's a lot of names, I know, but all that means is that these college credits are recognized and acceptable and eligible for transfer credit anywhere. Even if Bottega University is not your child's dream school, they can get ahead and they can save some time when they do apply to the dream school one day. But many students really do enjoy the program and they end up staying all the way through simply because of the way that Bottega University prepares them for their careers. Now, as far as terms go, the AdvantEDGE has very flexible terms. Now, our standard term length for college students is 12 weeks. And we see that works very well. It's a very good structure. It gives them just enough time to be able to finish their courses, but it doesn't feel like it's dragging it out. It also doesn't feel like it's all crammed together and they have to rush through everything. So 12 weeks is our standard term, but we understand that every person has schedules that differ from that. And while we recommend the 12 weeks, there are ways that we can work out flexible schedules, whether it's blocks such as 3, 6, or 9-week blocks, or maybe a semester is preferred to align with a traditional school year, such as fall, spring, and summer. Whatever that looks like, we're working with Angela to make sure that we meet the needs of you and your students. Now, as far as how other schools usually do it, most of the time there's one of two options. First is there's strict schedules and a rigid structure, which means that there's a lot of accountability, but as a homeschooling parent, you probably wanted to move away from that type of schedule, and it probably conflicts with a lot of your plans that you have, which means you now have to reorganize and restructure your homeschooling if you want to do a dual enrollment type program. Or the alternative is that there's no schedule, there's no structure, maybe like a subscription type model, and there's very little accountability, which means that your student loses motivation. There's always a moving goalpost. So you end up paying more money and spending more time to finish those courses because your student is not being guided along to complete the process, and they're usually just on their own. And we don't want you to feel that way. So we try to find that really good middle ground where we can be flexible, but still have a very guided system to help so that you don't have to feel like that's on your plate, to just add one more thing, one more task to structure your student schedule, because you're already doing that with the other courses and with everything else you got in life, budgeting, with family events, everything like that. So hopefully this makes it a little bit easier when if this decision is something that you end up taking. We also want to see tangible results in your students' lives. So we want them to perform by earning credentials through skill mastery and not just seat time. The traditional college credit system, they earn credits by meeting a certain number of hours in the classroom, whether that's physically in class or digitally in the class online. At Bottega, we are a competency or demonstration-based university. So our focus is making sure that they are proficient in the skills that they learn. And while they have those benchmarks that they're looking to meet, so the 12-week terms or the blocks or the semesters, if they finish early because something comes naturally to them, I'm really good at math and my wife is not. I might finish a math class a little bit faster than her, and she would take a little bit extra time to finish her math class. I would knock out math so that I could spend more time on another subject matter. And your child can do that at our university. And because we have monthly start dates, they can finish early if they want to, and they don't have to wait to register for another class if they want to earn some more college credit towards transfer credit or towards a degree. They can go ahead and register the very next month, and that's perfectly fine. We also want them to progress, and we want them to learn at their own pace. We don't want them to feel bound by the traditional structure. We want it tailored to how they learn and when they learn. We also want to partner with them so that they are successful. They receive proactive guidance and support from instructors and teaching associates throughout the entire time that they're enrolled at Bottega. Of course, we want them to produce relevant work that can be used for employability. We want them to be able to be prepared for the career field that they want to go into. And as a boutique university, our course offerings, while the general education space is pretty similar to what every liberal arts or science program offers to meet those requirements nationwide. We're hyper focused on providing degrees that are relevant to today's workforce. So our focus is on business, technology, and communications. So if they're interested in earning a degree in that space, then they're going to get an extra benefit of being able to have that opportunity through a competence-based institution like Bottega. And all this means that they get real world results. It's not just theory, it's not just in their head. And then when they go do an interview, they're just kind of treading water. Everybody has to have a time where they're figuring out how the company they work within works. But we want to give them that advantage so that they don't have to spend as much time adapting and they can spend more time thriving in with their careers. So if this is something that you want to do and you want to make a difference in your students' education, what are the next steps? If you're already not enrolled at PAX Academy and you're just inquiring, the first step is to enroll at paxacademy.org to qualify for the special pricing that I talked about earlier. Our standard price is $500 per course, but because we can offer the special pricing through PAX Academy, you'll save some money by enrolling in PAX first. You'll receive expert guidance from Angela and her team and tons of helpful homeschool and unschooling resources. So I highly recommend doing that. Even though the advantage is available to everybody, we want you to take advantage of everything that you can get through our partner. Now, if you're already enrolled at PAX Academy, you can go to bottega.edu/learn more. You can fill out our inquiry form for the Bottega AdvantEDGE on the drop down from the program list, and an admissions representative such as myself, specializing in the AdvantEDGE initiative, will work with you and your child on how to get started. So I want to spend less time talking, more time listening. So if you already have questions ready, or if something popped up and that just you want a little bit more information about, this is the time to do that. So I'm going to pass it over to Angela, and she can facilitate and field any questions that anybody has. And if she has any of her own, she's welcome to ask too. And I'll be here to answer as many as I can.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Zach, for being here. If you have any questions that you would like, since we're a small enough group, if you like, you can just go ahead and unmute yourself and ask your question. Or if you feel more comfortable, you can type your question into the chat, and I'll make sure that I read that aloud so Zach can see that and then answer that as those come in. So yeah, feel free to ask whatever questions that you have about this program, about dual enrollment, anything that Zach talked about. Or if you have questions about PAX Academy too, you're welcome to ask those questions as well.
So I have a quick question. So my son, he's 13. He is in 7th grade right now. And of course, it's his first year that we've homeschooled him before, but it's his first year in PAX Academy. If he wanted to go on and take courses, would he be able to go on and do that even with him not being in high school, or does he have to be in high school?
That's a really great question. Our recommended age to start is around the 8th grade range. But if you feel like your son is ready for something like this and he wants to take advantage of it, then that's something that we can work out. Our university's president is very flexible and adaptable, and he is really encouraged when people want to take advantage of opportunities like this. And as long as he feels that they're ready as well, and you feel that your son is ready, then that's something that we can talk about. And even if it's just dipping your toes in the water, maybe just take one course, because it's his first foray into college education at 13 years old.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
And Aaron had a similar question. He said, "Is there a bottom age limit for the students?" But you kind of already touched on that as well. But yes, from what Zach has shared, typically 8th grade is a good age to start, where kids are capable of doing this kind of level of work. But of course, your kids better than any of us. So it's one of the beautiful things about being homeschoolers and unschoolers is that we have that flexibility to meet our children where they're at and to go at whatever level they need. Could you talk real quick too, Zach, about the different types of courses that they could take through a dual enrollment program?
Yeah, absolutely. So, the first type of course would be a general education course. This is common to any university level degree program. And this would be your English and your math, so algebra, your biology, your history, your sociology, psychology, courses like that that meet general education requirements for most degrees. There are some degrees that are exceptions to those, but 95% of the time, a degree is going to have those general education requirements. Then we have our cognate requirements that begin with prerequisite courses. These prerequisites are required to get into the higher level cognates. So a prerequisite course would be like Business 101, Introduction to Business, or Computer Science 100, Coding Foundations, things like that. So it prepares them and gives them kind of a purview of what the career field looks like and introduces them to the world that they might step into. And then you've got your core cognates, which a cognate is a group of courses that essentially prepare you to go into the workforce in a specific career field. So these would be marketing courses for someone in a business administration with a marketing focus, or it would be a software development cognate in a computer science degree, or it would be PR for communications in that particular case. So those are the types of courses that students can complete at Bottega. All of our courses are available to be taken at Bottega University up to that 90 credit hour limit. So if your student knows that he wants to start his own business one day, or he wants to go into sales specifically or something like that, then he can start with Business 101 and work his way through business cognate courses as well as any others. And as long as you're underneath that 90 credit hour limit, all the courses are available to you, and he could potentially complete a business cognate before they graduate and then go knock out the gen eds later. Most students, however, we recommend you take the gen eds first, get those out of the way. Most students, especially including myself, don't really know what we want to do right away when we go into college. So usually my recommendation is to save those for the end. And that's what most students do, is they take their general education requirements first.
Awesome. Thank you for answering that. We have another question in the chat as well. They said, Rosa asked, would a sample syllabus be available to help make a decision if the student is ready?
Yep. So our university catalog has a list of every single program and every single course with a breakdown of all the information that's needed in order to decide what type of course they're going to be enrolling in. If you do need more information from that, then we can get you in touch with our academic director, and he can get you a copy of the detailed course syllabus that breaks down all the learning outcomes for that course and what the breakdown of assignments and everything would be for that course. But if you want to find out what courses you might be interested in, then the university catalog will be the best place to go.
And I'll have a link that's available for you where you'll get a chance that you can take a look through their catalog and see what all of those courses are. I'll send that out later. And also for those of you that are already enrolled in PAX Academy, in the Welcome to PAX Academy course, we're going to have an entire section devoted to our partnership with Bottega, so you guys can learn more about the different courses that they offer there and what that whole process is like.
Okay, and another question.
Mhm.
So let's say if they started on one course, let's say, for example, my son, he wants to be a veterinarian, but then
Mhm.
recently he's been like, oh no, I want to be a business owner.
Okay.
So would he be able to switch those courses, or how would it work if he decided to change his mind?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So once you enroll in a course, there is a withdrawal period that every student can withdraw in, and we have a refund policy for any courses with if they withdraw within a certain amount of time and he doesn't like the business course at all, and he says, "Hey, I don't want to finish this," then he can withdraw. Um, the uh, the way that most degrees work is that they'll have a list of those general education requirements, and they sometimes they do differ between, even at the same university. Uh, every different degree might even have different general education requirements. So for instance, if he wants to be a veterinarian, he'll probably start with an undergraduate degree before he goes for his
Doctorate.
Doctorate in veterinary medicine. And he'll probably have a lot more science classes that are technically considered general education requirements versus someone who wants to go into business and they might only have the one science requirement, which is usually biology. That's what most students take as biology or earth science. And he'll have far less. They're all general education requirements, but a veterinary, someone wants to go into veterinary medicine, their undergraduate degree in biology, for instance, or zoology, something like that, will probably have a lot more of those. So they'll have less elective hours usually in degrees like that too, versus a degree that's a little bit more broad. They might have more electives. So one thing to think about too is that if he's interested in a course, but he's gone through enough of it that it might just be better for him to finish. A lot of degree programs build in elective hour space, and that course could still potentially transfer in as an elective if your son one day says, hey, I actually don't want to start a business. I do want to be a veterinarian. You talk with your future institution that offers that degree and see what the best way to transfer that over would be. Usually it would be a transfer evaluator or a registrar's office staff member who would work with you on that.
Okay. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Someone else asked in the chat, is it recommended to do this in lieu of or in addition to courses my child may be taking? I don't mind taking this one if you don't mind.
Yeah, go for it.
One of the things that we talk about in PAX Academy is I want to give you all the resources possible so that you can hack your child's high school and college education, and literally save tens of thousands of dollars and so much of your time. That is something that I'm really deeply committed to. And what the best way to hack your education is really going to depend on your child and what their goals are and what they're wanting to accomplish and kind of what their end goal is. So from my perspective, if your child is planning to go to college in the future, it just makes sense that if they're going to be taking a class, let's say, maybe you sign them up for a class on Mia Academy or Excelis or IXL or Time for Learning, or you're using these other curriculum, right? They're still doing the work of taking an English class, but that's it. Like they take the English class and it's done. Whereas if you were to take an English class through Bottega, they would be getting both college credit and high school credit at the same time without having to do any extra work. And also at a way discounted price to what they would be paying if they were to take a college level course once they've graduated. So for someone who is considering going on to college in general, if they're in 8th grade or above, and definitely within the high school range, if you have a homeschooler that's in high school, I absolutely recommend that they do take dual enrollment classes, because that is a phenomenal way that your child can demonstrate that they are ready for that level of education even before they've graduated. So yes, you would look at your child's, thing, and maybe your child wants to, like he said, if he wants to be a veterinarian, that college is going to be looking or expecting him to do extra science classes. So you might say, you know what, my son wants to find a path in as a veterinarian. So rather than taking an online biology class, I'm going to take my biology class through Bottega so that way he can get the college credit and high school credit at the same time. Does that make sense?
Made sense to me. I think you knocked it out of the park.
Okay. All right, great.
Yeah, and my recommendation, if your child has a very specific school in mind that they want to go to, is to check with that school to see the degree offerings that they have. Take a look at their course requirements, and then ask them, my son wants to take, or my daughter wants to take X course at Bottega University. Can you take a look at this course description and see if it matches one of the courses that you offer? Now, while all of our courses are transfer eligible, we can't guarantee transfer credit because every university has tons and tons of different courses. But the benefit of taking especially general education courses first is that gen eds at universities are almost universally essentially the same at every school. So while we can't guarantee that, say, our business and marketing course will meet another business and marketing course in the university, most of the time it will. You always want to check with that school if this is just a way to earn a little bit of college credit before they go to their dream school. That's my recommendation. Now, the Department of Education, in conjunction with Congress, passed several laws and to essentially make transfer eligibility a lot easier between schools just in the past 5 years. And a lot of times schools were saying, nope, I won't accept that credit. Nope, I won't accept that credit because they wanted everyone to spend money at their school.
Right.
Department of Education said, no, we're not doing that. And that's actually one of the reasons why the 75% transfer credit limit exists. So if you'll notice, 90 credit hours is the same limit as 75% for a bachelor's degree. 90 divided by 120 is 75%. So you're actually meeting the transfer credit limit for every school in the nation that they're required by law to meet. Now, the courses still have to meet certain course requirements, but even if they don't, many times those courses can still transfer in as elective credit hours in those degree programs because the schools understand that if they don't grant credit to it, the student will go somewhere else where they can save money, because why would I want to take biology 101 again when 9 of the 10 schools I reach out to want it, but the one school won't let it happen, right? And many times if that ever happens, you can come talk to us. Our academic dean will get in touch with their academic dean and say, hey, someone at your school said this can't transfer over. Why is that? Because they're really not supposed to be doing that. Hopefully that answers your question. But the goal here is to make sure that your child is as prepared as possible before they go off to college full time, if that's their goal.
All right. Anyone else have any? Oh, I see another question here in the chat. It says, we're currently under the umbrella. My daughter's 13 in 8th grade. She doesn't quite know what she wants to do for now. Would it be more beneficial to join PAX Academy now or wait until 9th grade? That is a great question. So for those of you who aren't familiar, I actually run 2 separate homeschooling organizations. One is a homeschool umbrella that is only for families that live in Maryland. And I also run PAX Academy, which is our registered and accredited private school for unschoolers, which accepts students from all 50 states and almost every country in the world. And so to answer this question, it really does just kind of depend on what your preference is. The umbrella is cheaper than PAX Academy, but when you enroll with PAX Academy, you're getting access to so much more. So within the umbrella, again, our only requirement is what the state requires, which is that we do our annual review once a year. But when you enroll in PAX Academy, you're getting access to hundreds of different resources that you're welcome to be able to use. You're also getting access to exclusive student and teacher discounts that aren't available for families that are in the umbrella. I tell families that if you're doing it right, yes, PAX Academy costs more upfront, but you should be saving money by being enrolled in PAX Academy when you factor in all of your other additional discounts and other benefits that you get as well. And then, of course, this partnership is exclusive to families that are enrolled in PAX Academy, so this would not be available for families that are in the umbrella. Most families, I think in Maryland, if they have the money up front to be able to do it, a lot of them do choose to just go right with PAX Academy from the very beginning, just because they do want to take advantage of all the additional discounts and resources and things. But if if money is your biggest factor, then there's no problem at all to remain in the umbrella until 9th grade. So if you're already enrolled in the umbrella, I don't think there's any problem with remaining, because we're already kind of halfway through the year. And then in June, you can make the switch to PAX Academy if you prefer. But it's not like there's a wrong choice, just whatever kind of best meets your your primary goals and desire. So thank you so much. We're still finding our way. Peaceful Worldschoolers is amazing. Oh, thank you so much for saying that. It made my day. Yes, I think so too. I'm really excited. Oh, and for those of you also who are watching both on TikTok and here in the group, I'm really, really excited too for next year. Our Peaceful Worldschoolers community is actually expanding. We're going to be expanding into 11 states next year. And so we're going to be having weekly field trips available to families in 11 states And I'm really, really excited to have that up and running for you guys so you can start getting connected and building a really strong local community of people that are getting out in the world and having fun adventures and learning through real life, real world experiences. And it is going to be great. So we're glad to have you guys a part of our community. Thank you. I'm super, super excited. All right. Does anyone else have any other questions for Zach? And actually, let me check here in TikTok and see if anyone has questions here. Oh gosh, sorry. There's a lot of people that have joined and I'm having to scroll. Hold on. All right. All right. Does anyone here on TikTok have any questions for Zach about dual enrollment or the dual enrollment program? Zach, I think one of the things that really intrigued me about the partnership with you guys and really wanting to work with you also is I feel like Bottega is such a forward thinking university. I love your like mastery based concepts. I think that is phenomenal. And then also your focus on technology. There's such a high need for that. And I see that there's so many homeschoolers and unschoolers in particular that really are intrigued and have a passion for things like coding and marketing and software development and things like that. And so I really, really love that you guys kind of specialize in that area. Could you talk a little bit
Yeah.
more about that track specifically for teenagers that are interested in pursuing some kind of career within that world of, coding
Right.
or gaming or design or development?
Yeah, absolutely. So, we specialize specifically in software development, and the way that we build it out, I'll give you the converse first. Most of the time, if you want to go into a software development or computer science degree, you pick the degree, you work all the way through to the end of the degree, and in years 3 and 4, that's really when you hammer down on networking and security, coding, Python, JavaScript, React, SQL, everything that you need in order to be prepared for a software development career. We flip the script and we want to start working with their core courses first and then balloon outwards. Think concentric circles. We start with their core studies first. We knock them out in the full stack development certificate program. And then those credits directly transfer into an associate's or bachelor's degree in computer science at Bottega University, completing the cognate requirements that we talked about earlier. The software development program is a hybrid type program between boot camp style and traditional education, where traditional education can take 2 to 4 years to get a software development to complete a software development program, and a boot camp style program is hyper focused on those studies and those skills, but boot camps are not accredited. They can't guarantee jobs, even though they market themselves as that. They're learning a lot of the same skills, but usually it's pretty hands off. They're, especially the more affordable ones, they're very hands off. The students kind of on their own. They might get some good curriculum and good skills here and there, but then when they come out of it, they're going to find that they don't have a portfolio to share. They might have completed a project like building a website or something, but everybody who comes out of software development can build a website. Our goal is to get them an accredited undergraduate certificate, so actual college credit, while still benefiting from a very cohesive, smooth program so that it's not all broken up. Because the way that computer science works is that everything builds off of one another, the skills that you learn. And that's great if you take a class in Python 1 year, but then when you take advanced Python 2 years later, you're going to forget half the stuff that you learned. That doesn't happen in the full stack program. You get to learn right from the beginning and apply it as you learn throughout the program. And that's where the benefits of a boot camp style program come in. But in addition to that, in the accredited and quality of the program, they're going to have one-on-one meetings with teaching associates who've actually gone through the program themselves, and they will work with your child as well as the rest of the students in mentorship sessions and live Zoom sessions, which are optional but highly recommended to go to the Zoom sessions, to sit through and work through coding and software development challenges together. And then they're going to be building a portfolio throughout the program and they're going to be working on a final project that takes everything that they've done. And if they want to build a website, then we recommend that they do that. A lot of people want to become web developers. That is the number one career of choice in people going into software development. But we want them to think creatively. It doesn't have to be a website. It could be a software application that uses AI to, for instance, to produce a password manager application or something like that. Or it could be something that maybe it's a website on the back end that they're focusing, and so it's a process that makes a website run faster in order that someone's business is able to process that data faster on the back end, so that they can market to those people who click on their website, and that actually increases the revenue while decreasing costs for that business. They're going to know how to do that. So we want them to think, how can I solve a business problem so that I am more employable than someone who just has the skills but doesn't know what to do with them?
Mm-hmm.
So that's the goal of the full stack development certificate. And then they can build on that with additional computer science and those general education courses in the associate or bachelor degree programs in computer science after they finish full stack. Now, the great thing about this is that I mentioned the tuition price for this program earlier. Tuition on average for an 18 or 21 credit hour software development program that covers all of the same topics and has all the same resources that we have is usually minimum about $17,000. And that's something for like this, because, and the reason why they price it that way is these programs are a little expensive to run because they're doing more than just reading a textbook. They're using expensive software applications to practice their coding and development skills. And sometimes they're even more expensive. Our program is priced even more affordable than that. Our traditional pricing is $12,000 for this program that a university level student has. Because of our partnership with PAX Academy and because of our alignment with state funding grants and vouchers, we're not charging more than the $1,100 per term that your student can enroll in to traverse through the entire full stack program. So instead of $12,000, your student is actually able to graduate anywhere from $4,400 to $4,700. So you get over 50% savings on enrolling through PAX Academy and completing this if that's something that your student wants to accomplish.
Which is amazing. We have another question in the chat. Says, what's the minimum number of credit hours?
Yeah, so the minimum number of credit hours, if you're talking about enrolling in PAX Academy and taking advantage of the AdvantEDGE, there's no minimum that you have to take. If you only want one course, then take one course. That's perfectly fine. If you want an entire associate's degree before you graduate high school, your child can complete an associate's degree before they graduate high school. And then they only have 2 years left after high school, and they can start getting valuable work experience or real life experience well before many of their peers will start doing that while they're still living at home. So they don't have to go and try to do it the hard way like I did, where I graduated college, I did an internship, I got married a month later, and then I went on a backpacking trip for my honeymoon. They don't have to do it the hard way where they're living in the top loft of an apartment building that's really just a house and there's cockroaches. They don't have to do that.
So in regards to the minimum number of credit hours too, again, for people who may not be familiar with the college system here. So a full-time student at the college level, full-time is considered 12 credit hours to 18 credit hours. And a lot of colleges will charge kind of like a flat rate for being full-time. So they could take anywhere from the 12 to 18. Now, remember, each college class is about 3 credit hours. So 12 would be 4 classes up to 18, which would be 6 classes. So anywhere between 4 to 6 classes is considered being a full-time student. And it's similar here through Bottega University as well. So to be considered a full-time student at Bottega, you would be taking somewhere between 4 and 6 classes. Am I correct in that?
Yep, that is correct. Yes. Yeah. So full-time load is 4 classes in a 12-week term, and anything less than that. And that's why we priced it the way that we did. You'll notice if it's $300 a course, 3 courses is $900. Normally, 4 courses at this price range would be $1,200. We're actually scholarshiping $100 off of that, on top of an already scholarshiped price. And then anything more than that full-time load, it does have to be approved by the academic dean, because in a 12-week period, a 4-course load can be a little heavy. Now, for a student who might not work a part-time or full-time job yet, it's probably a little bit easier, so that's a little bit more doable than most online learners, which are between 18 and 35. So it is a little bit more doable, but we still recommend speaking with our registrar and our academics team to make sure that that's the right fit for your student, because 5 or 6 courses can be a little bit more work to manage than 1, 2, 3, or 4 courses. Now, in addition to that, I wanted to mention that the way that the tuition is structured in this program is that it is term-based tuition for the AdvantEDGE initiative specifically. A dual enrollment program at a university usually requires that a student enroll in a particular degree track, even if it's just interdisciplinary studies, because they don't want to decide yet. They still have to pick a degree track, and they're kind of locked into that unless they do like a program change. And they usually have to meet minimum courses, like they usually have to take 2 courses at a time to meet half-time requirements so they can use loans and grants and things like that. In the AdvantEDGE, you're not really in a dual enrollment program. Your child is enrolled similarly to a non-degree seeking student, taking courses that they need to graduate from high school. And the extra benefit is that they're also earning college credit. So it's a lot more flexible than a dual enrollment program might be.
Yeah.
It's gonna cost a lot less because they're not locked into a specific degree track with minimum course requirements or credit hour requirements with strict timeframes that they have to complete that in. You pick a course: English 101, English 102, college algebra, American history, sociology, psychology. You can take those courses as needed, 1 at a time, 2 at a time, 3, 4 at a time, and it really just depends on the needs of your child.
Another thing too, if you're looking at other dual enrollment programs, a lot of times in order to apply or be accepted into a dual enrollment program, your child will have to meet some kind of testing requirements. And that's another thing I really like about the Bottega AdvantEDGE, is that they don't have to pass these tests in order to take advantage of this opportunity.
Yep, that's exactly right. So, and sometimes some dual enrollment programs require you to meet certain minimum college admissions requirements.
Mm-hmm.
And because this is a non-degree program where they're earning college credit that they can later apply to degrees at Bottega if they want to, or transfer somewhere else, then the only requirements we have are essentially an affidavit signed by you, the parent, because your child is a minor, granting them permission to work with our staff and our faculty through admissions. And then because we have proctoring softwares, usually there's an ID requirement, whether that's like a driver's license or just like a student ID, something like that, where essentially they'll do like facial recognition to make sure that the person taking the final exam is the same student who's enrolled in the class, and it's not their cousin or their brother or something like that, which we've had people try to do before, and they and we don't want that. We want the student to learn, not somebody else. And that's it. So there's no we don't need high school transcripts yet to get them in, because I know they're still in high school and these courses are going on their high school transcript. If they want to earn a degree, they do have to submit high school transcripts at the end when they graduate from their homeschool or unschooled high school program. But while they're enrolled, they don't have to submit those. We don't need all the other college credits if they have. Now, if you want to transfer credit into a degree program here, you can submit college credits, but you don't need to. All we require is just that signed affidavit, so that you're invested and you're aware and have granted permission for your child to take classes here, and just the ID, and that's it. Like Angela said, no extra test scores, no comprehensive preparatory exams, no ACTs, SATs, nothing like that. They can enroll and they can start the process as soon as January. Actually, January 7th is our next start date, right after the holidays.
Yes. Oh, and in regards to a student ID, that is something as well that is included with your PAX Academy tuition. So when you enroll in PAX Academy, you will get a student ID with PAX Academy. We'll send that to you. And you, as the parents, can also order a teacher ID, which you can take advantage because you are your child's primary educator. So you guys are considered teachers with our private school. And you can use your teacher ID to take advantage of all kinds of awesome discounts and things like that that you can use to buy supplies and other resources for your children with their homeschooling. So that's what I mean when I say, when you enroll in PAX Academy, it costs more upfront. Not a lot. It's only $350 per year. But in addition to that, you get all these other benefits that will hopefully be saving you money in the long term. So. All right. I see someone on TikTok ask, can you get a worker's permit? Yes. So the process of getting a work permit is going to vary state by state. Every state has different laws regarding how to get a work permit. And if you can go ahead and research that on your own as well. You can just Google like, how do I get a work permit in my state? And it's pretty self-explanatory. Usually there's a form that a school administrator would have to fill out or sign for you. And then whatever business or whatever company is offering you a job, they would also have to fill out their portion as well of the form. And that's basically it. But yes, at PAX Academy, we can help you with filling that out as well. We have another question as well in the chat. Said, this is great. My child is ADHD. Would this learning environment be beneficial for her? That's a great question.
Yeah, that's a very great question. Honestly, you know your child better than I do, and you know your learning style. Because this is a very personalized type of education system, and each of the instructors do take very care to understand their students and understand where they're at. I think that this opportunity can be a lot better than your cookie cutter right out of the box type of program where students all have to meet the standard, and the standard deviation from the mean is that the students who excel in that are the ones who already excel in that type of environment versus a student who might have a different way that they learn. So that's the real benefit of this, is that maybe your child has different times that they can really focus, and that's when they're going to be able to do this. And then if they need to take a break and they can go back to it later, they can go back to it later, and they're not going to miss out on something because they're not missing a lecture. The lectures are there when they're ready to come back to it.
I love that. Thank you so much, Zach. And thank you guys for asking great questions. Alicia said, I love this. It's less pressure on our kids than what society has placed on them. That is so true. And again, this is one of the reasons why I tell people all the time, homeschooling and unschooling is the future of education without a doubt, because we have so many different opportunities available, especially through the use of technology, to be able to learn what we want at a pace that works for us. And we can really customize our child's education to meet their individual needs and their unique goals. And I love that we get to do this now in partnership with Bottega. I'm really honored, Zach, to be a part of this with you and to help provide this opportunity for families within PAX Academy. So thank you so much for reaching out and for helping to make this possible for them.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm so impressed with what you and PAX Academy are doing for your families. So I'm really excited to launch this initiative for people who might not even be enrolled yet, but are learning about it right now, or people who have already been in PAX Academy for a while and are learning about this for the first time too. I think this will be a really great opportunity for each of these families.
Me too. Me too. All right. So we are almost coming up on our 9 o'clock time. So as always, if anyone has any questions, I always try to answer questions first on the Zoom. And then if there are any questions left over, I'll hang out and answer questions from people on TikTok. Zach, did you have anything else that you wanted to share? If there were any other questions for Zach, I also want to be respectful of his time.
Yeah, I didn't have anything specifically that I wanted to share other than I just wanted to say thank you for everyone taking your time out this evening to hear me talk a lot. I can be long-winded, so I really appreciate just everyone just asking such great questions and showing so much interest in this. I'm really excited to get to meet a lot of you just on phone or on video calls, and the rest of the team is looking forward to it as well. So we're gonna knock this out of the park next year. But if you've got, Christmas programs or holiday programs going on for your family, go out, go get back to that. Go spend time with your family. You don't need to hear me talk anymore. I'm taking up too much of your time as it is.
All right. Thank you so much, Zach. We appreciate you being here. And I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording. But like I said, if you are enrolled in PAX Academy, we'll have more information and details about this within our course, and I'll be sending that out to you via email as well. If you have not yet registered in PAX Academy and you want to take advantage of these awesome opportunities through our partnership with Bottega, just go to paxacademy.org and you could just click on the enroll button and enroll with us. Like I said, it is only $350 per year. And right now we have a family discount going on. So it's only $600 per year for a family of up to 3 students. So major savings for you guys. We'd love to have you join the PAX Academy family. And I'm looking forward to supporting you and your kids as they pursue their dreams and as they learn how to hack their high school and college education through our partnership with Bottega. So thank you guys so much. Have a wonderful evening. I'm going to stop the recording.